going to talk about kind of a depressing topic for me. And that is about my Sony RX100 Mark V. As you have already guessed from the title, I got my Sony RX100 Mark V, I believe last April of 2018. It's now January 2019. Beginning in August of 2018, I began to have problems with my RX100. The problem I would have with it is this. Looks like it's on, doesn't it? The lens is out. The lens is extended. But it is not on. It has a battery in it. The battery is charged, but it's dead. It won't turn on or off. Now, it has been a week or two, and this battery may have gone dead, so I'm going to try a new battery in it right now to see if it'll turn on. The thing of this issue is that it will just randomly come and go. It won't turn on, it won't turn off or on for sometimes weeks, and then all of a sudden it'll turn on. Sometimes it's just a day or two, and then it'll decide to start working again. So I'm putting a fresh battery in to see what we get here. Still nothing. Still dead. It first started doing it one day when I was going around with our youth group and I was just filming kids, and then I was walking around. I had the camera on and I was holding it in my hand like this with it still on down by my side because I was just going up to different people, so I didn't want to be turning it on or off. After a while, I was talking with some of the parents and I realized, hey, it normally auto powers off after a minute or two. I realized, hey, it hasn't powered off yet. Am I still recording? Because sometimes I do that. I forget to stop recording, and I thought, oh no, I must still be recording. I brought the camera up. It was dead. Won't turn on or off. No matter what batteries I put in, I put fresh batteries in. I left it sitting out with no battery in it for hours. I take the battery out and hold the power button for an extended time to try to deplete any residual charge in there to completely kill it, and put fresh battery back in. Nothing. The entire week we were at youth camp, I could not get this thing to turn on or off or do anything. Fast forward to a couple weeks after camp, it was just sitting there on the bar in our kitchen. I'd just kind of given up on it, was planning on trying to send it in. On a whim one day, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna pop a battery back in here, put a battery back in, hit the power button. It came to life. It would turn on and off. And then it continued to work for a few weeks just fine, turning on and off. Nothing was wrong. And then one day it went dead again. It did the same thing, but that time it only lasted like a day. Then it started working again. I thought, well, this is weird. I cannot rely on this camera, but at least I can still use it some. Now you may be asking, why haven't I sent it into Sony? And I am going to send it into Sony, but the reason I haven't sent it off to Sony to do a warranty repair, since I just got it in April, it would still be under manufacturer warranty. From what I read online, Sony's not going to repair this under warranty because, and this could be the root of the issues, I did drop this camera. Well, I didn't drop it, but I had it on a Gorilla Pod on the hood of a car. I was filming a segment of me walking around a car to open the door, put something in the car. So I had it sitting on the front hood of the car, and when I shut the door of the car shook enough that the Gorilla Pod tipped over. The camera fell a few feet down to the cement parking lot. Stopped recording, the power went off. It did get it got a scuff mark, but it turned on and off. From that moment on, it worked fine. It was totally fine. And that was a good couple months before the camp issue when it started acting weird. Now the other thing I'm suspicious of is, before I had even dropped it, the little lever in the battery compartment, there's a lever that's supposed to be right here that flips to the side that lets you eject the battery. That lever just fell out one day, and I couldn't, it was just a metal post with a little clip. I couldn't figure out how it was supposed to stay in there, and there was a little spring in the hole, which I knew was the spring that made that lever spring loaded, so when you pushed it to the side to let the battery out, it would snap back into place. So there was still a little spring in that hole, but I could still close the door and latch it, and the camera would work fine. So I wasn't too concerned about that. It was an annoyance that every time I opened compartment to like switch out the memory card. The battery pops out so the camera shuts off or whatever, but I wasn't too worried about that. And now after the thing went dead, I did look in that little hole. I don't know if you can see, there's a little hole right there. That spring was gone. I don't know where that spring went. I don't remember it ever falling out of the camera, but when I shine a light into this little hole, there is a little opening into the inside of the body of the camera. And my fear is that maybe that spring has fallen inside the body of the camera and is moving around and shorting something out, causing these issues. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, this was working fine off and on. I was using it to film a vlog. In fact, our Christmas cookie baking vlog, I was using this camera to start off the day. Some of the first footage of that vlog was filmed with this camera. And I was filming things I was doing at work to get ready to go do the Christmas cookies. And I was using this, and I had a small Gorilla Pod on it, and I was reloading paper in the printer at my print shop. And so I set this up kind of in the printer tray to get a shot of me putting paper into the tray. And I didn't realize or think about the fact that when I put the paper in, the floor of the tray sinks down with the paper, and this was sitting on that floor. So when that tray sunk down, the camera flipped over like that into the tray, just about that far, and just landed on its top. I didn't even think anything of it. It was just a gentle little boom. But when I picked it up, it was dead. So it does appear that physical jarring triggers it. But I picked it up out of the tray, it was dead. I was like, oh man. And I think I popped the battery out. I can't remember exactly what I did. I did a couple things, turned a couple knobs, popped the battery out, and it's alive. Oh my word. This has been dead since that day 2 weeks ago. Okay, so what I did right now is I turned this knob, one click over and one click back, and it's now alive. What in the world? I don't know. This is just really stumping me. So back to my story. I turned a couple knobs, popped the battery in and out. I was able to get it turned back on right away. It came back to life like just a few minutes after it went dead. And I was like, that's really weird. And then I kind of, bumped. I don't want to do it now because I'm afraid I'm going to kill it again. But I kind of took the camera in my hand and just kind of went like this, just to kind of test if the jarring, and lo and behold, it went out again. So then I couldn't get it to come back on that time. But so I went, put it on my desk. I used my A6000 to film the rest of that day's vlog. But I think the next day, it came back to life. And I was like, what in the world? So I wanted to see if I could recreate killing it again. So I got out my cell phone and started recording me taking this and kind of tapping it on my desk, and lo and behold, it went out again. So I've definitely concluded that physical jarring of it causes it to go dead. I don't know why. Again, that could be the spring in there. I tried opening it up one day, and it's scary. It's scary to open this thing up. Everything's so tightly packed in there. I honestly couldn't see how a spring could be going around in there. And I don't hear anything when I rattle it around. Let's see if it'll turn off and on. I hit the power button. Okay, there it goes. That took a while. That's another weird thing it does. Another weird thing it does is sometimes when I turn it on, the lens only comes out halfway, and then it goes back shut, and it shuts itself back off, and it just acts really weird. So let's see what it does. Yep. It's working fine right now. I just wish this was... I love this camera. I love it. But I hate it at the same time. I just wish it would work for me all the time. I'm probably still going to have to send it into Sony and just bite the bullet and pay them to fix it, because it's a $1,000 camera, and I barely was able to use it for 6 months before it started acting weird. And I know it's probably my fault. It's probably a result of the fall off of my car. But, let me know if any of you guys out there that have this camera have ever had issues like this, where it just shuts off with the lens extended. I kind of want to try to recreate it right now, but I already have footage of it doing it, so I'm going to show that right now. Here's the footage of me killing it the last time it died, before it just now resurrected on its own, right here live on this camera. I can't believe that. For 2 weeks, I haven't been able to get it turned back on. I sit down to do a video about it, and it says, "Oh, you're talking about me? I want to come to the party." Anyway, here's the footage of me killing it. So anyway, as you can see, the tapping of the camera onto my desk, don't do that, John, seems to have been the thing that killed it. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with the battery, if it has to do with the battery clip missing, not holding the battery down far enough, and something. And so I think the problem is down in this area, because one day I was putting that little Gorilla Pod onto the camera, and I had the camera on while I was doing it, and I wanted to get in there fairly snug. And I tightened the Gorilla Pod into the tripod mount, and it went dead. The screen went out, the lens was still extended, it did its thing. I was like, what? And it was right when I tightened it down. So then I loosened it up a little bit, and it came back on. So figure that one out. I don't know, because this, I'm going to open it. I might regret it, because I always regret when I have to open it, because anytime I take the battery out, put it back in, I never know if it's going to work. So I'll pop this out. The tripod mount is right here next to where that spring was and where that spring mount for the lever was. So it kind of seems like the issue is somewhere in this bottom area, and it was when I was tapping it on the bottom, although when it fell into the printer tray, it landed on its top. I just did it again. Why do I keep banging it? I gotta treat this thing with kid gloves to keep it working. Now let's see if it's gonna turn on. I'm gonna put the battery back in. Yay! Still works. So that's the thing, is it'll go like this for a couple weeks, and it'll turn on and off. I'll carry it in my backpack. I'll use it for vlogging. So yeah, maybe I'll start using this again here in the next few days for my vlogs, if it keeps working. I'll update you guys if the camera's working again. I don't know, it's the weirdest thing, but I just wanted to share this with the internet world, so that if there's anybody else out there having this issue, I'd love to hear about it, because I can't find anybody else having a similar issue. There are people having issues with it not turning on or something like that, but it comes when I read out into the threads, it's not the same type of issue that I'm having, and it's not this exact same camera. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you guys have seen this before, or if you have any thoughts as to what it could be or what I should do. My plan is to eventually probably send this into Sony, bite the bullet, pay what it costs to get it fixed, because like I said, I spent $1,000 on this camera, and to have it be an unreliable, worthless brick, that's an expensive, unreliable, worthless brick. So I might as well invest a little bit more money into it to get it fixed, so that it will consistently work for me and be a trustworthy camera, because it is a great camera. I love this camera. I love the flip up screen. You can see my whole review I did of this when I got it. I love it. It's just a very versatile camera. This, coupled with my DJI Osmo Pocket, would be the vlogging combo that would be unstoppable. It would be perfect. And which, by the way, I am going to do a video on my DJI Osmo. I will probably be doing a review, kind of overview of the DJI Osmo Pocket, my thoughts on it so far using it, and it will be posted on Wednesday. So keep an eye out Wednesday for my overview of the DJI Osmo Pocket. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Sorry it was kind of a boring tech video for those of you who are my friends and stuff. I know you not necessarily into all this tech and camera gear stuff, but occasionally I got to do some of these videos because there are things that I'm interested in. So I hope those that were interested in this topic, hope you found it useful and informative. And if you could give me any kind of information, that would be awesome. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what I should do about this thing. I'll see you guys tomorrow.